to capital has really been, and availability to credit has been a conversation that has been ongoing, and it's not very easy, especially with the current situation with banks. There's a lot that comes to being able to be given credit or capital to start off. What would be some of the other alternatives you would imagine in the current and modern day types of businesses post-COVID in the era of technology as well?
I think it's become a big issue of access to finance, and I think access to finance for a lot of young startups or small startups has been very difficult. It used to be like that in agriculture, where agriculture was seen as so risky that weather, climate, all that stuff, so agriculture never got funding. Now the startups are facing the same problem. And this is where we need to be unique in terms of how we get them to fund. Whether it's crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, or it's equity, right? We have to have new equity models where they can get funding. However, there's one more thing that our youngsters need to do is articulate their pitch in a much better manner. Okay. Articulate what they need, what they want. And I think it's establishing trust. So once trust is established, people will start saying, okay, I can do that too. I was speaking to the CEO of Stock Exchange here, and they can start doing that too, because a lot of people go to them and say, where do I put my money? And they put them in the number of limited stocks we have in the stock market. This could go to our youngsters, but it needs to become bankable. And those project proposals are still not fully bankable. And I think this is where we need to show them how to pitch, how to make it better, and give it out. Okay. There's a lot of young startups that are being given a lot of money by smaller people all across the world. Why not here, right? It can be done here. It can be incubated. But I think the articulation, I would say, from the startup side, they need to really articulate, have a customer there, see what the need is, and make it happen. Okay. If you talk to people who do, venture capital in America, angel funding is a startup, right? And they do startup funding. Out of 100 people they finance, probably 90 of them fail. 10 of them succeed and become like your WhatsApp or Facebook. And that's what happens ultimately. So that's where we need to really have an incentive for that. We don't have that incentive in Kenya.
So looking at, with the advent of global economic uncertainty sometimes and, inflation issues, we've seen the last year aggravated wars here and there, global tectonic plates are shifting. How can then the private sector alliance, KEPSA, and the private sector in general in Kenya adapt to this, having seen how things have been, not only even in the last 3 years, perhaps even in the last 20 years?
I'd put it this way. I think Kenyan companies under KEPSA and all the 1 or 2 million businesses who are engaged with that are quite agile, are quite adaptable. And what we need to do is navigate the turf well. And that's where KEPSA comes in to say, fine, help you navigate the turf. Number one. Number two, we're in a VUCA world. VUCA is volatility, is the uncertainty is a given, right? Complexity is also given, and ambiguity is also given. In those territories of VUCA world, we've got to make sure we show them how to adjust their sails and still move forward. Whether you got headwinds or tailwinds, you still got to adjust your sails and therefore say, how do I become agile? And sometimes if you got a product that doesn't work, fail fast, but learn fast from it. And I think get onto it, because otherwise you sit with a paradigm that people will still come and buy from my shop or Duka, where they're now going to a device. You got to change. So you got to change and say morph into that. We can do that. It's not always doom and gloom that it's only taxation or it's only this or that. But I think the issue is about being innovative. And our people are quite innovative. However, again, around that area, I would urge government, we have no incentives for a lot of startups in digital space. We need to look at an incentive package. We can do that for them. We're going ahead and giving a lot of FDI, foreign direct investment, and we give them tax exemptions or this or that. Why not do it for our startups? In fact, get them to start saying they should have a 20 or 30 million shilling turnover, and thereafter you start taxing them. If we gave them that leeway and we say, fine, no licenses until you become a certain size, of course they got to comply with quality standards. But at the same time, if they came up, we'd have a seriously booming country.
Absolutely. Vimal, let's take a quick commercial break as